Right, of course, welcome back to the Power Breakfast show. Like we have been telling you, in the end board that was there is a short promo. We're just going to run it one more time for you. That is the hashtag. I'm told the cocks are already here. They're warming up outside. They're not supposed to see each other. And so you want to jump on that hashtag for breakfast. The Isikuti dancers are also out there. All this really has also been argued as something that can be able to promote tourism. And that's what we're talking about today. The hashtag is Power Breakfast 22422. Mr. Mutegi Njau is hosting Murithi Ndegwa, who is the MD of the Kenya Tourism Board, and Susan Bishara, who is the General Manager of the SHAZA, and they're going to be talking about this. You want to get on that hashtag. It is Power Breakfast and 22422. What do you think are what are your views on what can enhance tourism, and what are the solutions? Over to you, Mutegi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ndegwa. Now, maybe we start with the basics. Tourism has been hit badly in this country for the last number of years. Maybe you give us an overview how bad or how good the situation is.
Thank you very much, Mutegi Njau, first and foremost for inviting me here to come and share with you some of the things that are happening in the tourism fraternity. I think you are quite right to say that over the last couple of months we've had serious challenges, or a lot of challenges in the tourism industry. And indeed it's in the public domain that there's some hotels that have closed down especially in Coast. We are also aware about job losses, and this is as a result of the performance having been affected quite significantly by incidences like the terrorist attacks that we've had in this country, in different parts of the country, and also with some of the traditional source markets issuing travel advisories against non-essential travel within parts of the country. For example, right now we have travel advisories against traveling to areas between running the entire coastline from Lamu all the way down to Diani, and this obviously has affected a lot of some of the major significant traditional markets.
Is there any move to change that situation?
Yes, the key thing is that all this has happened, and we, first and foremost, have to be very much aware that the government has put in place a lot of measures to ensure that the country is safe, not just for the visitors but also for the local people. And you've seen a lot of measures that the government has put in place to ensure the safety of the local people and the visitors alike. At the same time also, as a tourism fraternity, spearheaded obviously by our parent ministry, the Ministry of East African Affairs, Commerce and Tourism, and ourselves as Kenya Tourism Board, together also with the private sector, we've gone out there to try and get the traditional markets, the new markets, and everybody aware that Kenya indeed is safe and open for business. And this is the reason why we've been undertaking a lot of reassurance campaigns, again, like I say, in the regional markets and in the traditional source markets, and also appealing to the local domestic market that we need you to visit your country.
Susan, your outfit, your institution is about promoting local tourism.
Yes.
Tell us what the SHAZA is.
SHAZA is a lifestyle investment product. These are luxury apartments. We're situated in Shanzu Beach area within Mombasa. That's the north coast. And what we offer in terms of the high-end apartments is 2 and 3 bedrooms. These are fully serviced, fully furnished, and it's very well positioned as a local product in the sense that how we have positioned the product is for it to be a lifestyle investment, so basically to be used by friends and families. We had the benefit of having our owners first visit in December, and again over Easter, and it's a process that's now ongoing. There's some reasonable traffic that's coming in, and you know, you'll have your quiet time, you'll have your private parties, you'll be able to make it your second home. That being said,
these are developments that are built by private individuals.
Yes.
In a common area.
Yes, yes. It's a local product in the first place. It's locally owned. However, the facility has got excellent amenities in terms of catering for the young people, the children. It's got the pizzerias, it's got the art gallery, it's got a mini movie theater within it, all within. And so how we are looking at it is a home away from home.
So, to me, it looks like you have said this high-end.
Yes.
High-end means middle-class people, people who are not very rich cannot come there.
Not at all. The place is open to all in public.
If you have no money, maybe let us talk about the money.
Now,
how would it cost if you want to come there for the weekend?
Okay, we have not yet clearly identified, we have not yet settled at specific amounts, because as I've said, the grand opening is yet to come, and therefore what has happened is that the owners firsthand have enjoyed the place starting from 20th December and going on and again over the Easter period. So in terms of having fixed prices, we have not yet ascertained. However, to answer your other question, what you're asking about, will the other people, who are not high-end be able to enjoy it? And indeed, very much so, because how we want the place to be positioned and to be branded is a place for friends and family. And as such, what happened and what we are seeing will be the trend, will be a place where, you come with your shows and the parents and the grandchildren, seeing 3 generations utilizing the place at a time. Because we don't want it to be particularly looked at as in direct competition with the hotel line or the hotel industry. This is differently positioned. It's a product that we are still doing the patenting and the branding of it, and so it's a concept that ideally has not been much felt or seen within the country.
How many are they?
We've got a total of 46 apartments.
Oh,
it's a beachfront product.
Okay.
Yes.
Now back to you.
Yes.
Mr. Ndegwa, maybe to tell us what events that are taking place that might bring tourists or foreigners in this country in the next few months.
Thank you for that. In terms of the events, there are quite a number of events that are lined up to take place between now and the end of this calendar year. And the first event, obviously, we'll be talking about is an event that is taking place from this weekend called the Lake Turkana Cultural Festival, running from 29th to 30th of May. Now, this event basically showcases the culture of the people who are resident in Marsabit County. It also showcases a lot in terms of archaeological and paleontological aspects of Marsabit County. You may be aware that the oldest human tool, or the oldest fossil of a tool, was actually discovered in Marsabit County in an area called Lomekwi, and it's actually been dubbed the Lomekwian, yes. And so we are looking to support the county, and this is the reason why sometimes last week, together with the county government of Marsabit and the National Museums of Kenya, we as KTB, we actually did a media launch at the National Museums of Kenya Auditorium. And the whole essence that we want Kenyans to know that indeed Kenya is blessed with the title of being the cradle of humankind. And I say this with confidence because research or scientists have proven that the oldest fossils have been discovered in this country, including also the oldest complete human fossil, the Turkana boy. Now, going through that event, we also have a number of other events coming in. For example, in the month of June.
Before we go to other, yes. Whom do you expect to that cultural festival?
Basically, we'll be
outsiders or locals?
Basically, we'll be looking at the Kenyan people, meaning the domestic market. We're looking at visitation from the different people from different counties coming into that county, and we're also looking at visitation from within the county, and we're also looking at international visitors. So it's a combination of 3, as it were. People with a resident in that county, people from other counties, the other 46 counties, the regional markets and the international markets. Now,
what would make a person from Senyeri go there?
There are so many reasons. One, you want to find out really what these people are talking about in terms of their old fossils, in terms of the cradle of humankind. What's all this about? And I would say again, having had the privilege of going to Marsabit County, you find some fossils, some of them embedded on the ground, that are really old. Giant tortoises, giant elephants. You also find what they call the petrified forest. You may not be aware, but I can tell you again, and this is from scientists, that there used to be a huge river flowing from Lake Turkana all the way down to Indian Ocean. So these are the things that, especially people who have curiosity, we are saying and we are appealing to them, just go and find out what is on there in that county. Again, when you look at the culture, we have several communities, I think about 14 different communities in that county, resident in that county. I'm not too sure whether you may have heard of communities like the El Molo, the Dasanech, and so on and so forth. And we are saying that because they are so rich in culture, they are so rich in terms of their traditions, in terms of their cuisine, we want Kenyans to basically go and find out, because there is no better way than listening and seeing some of these people as opposed to being told about it. So that's the reason why we are appealing to all Kenyans, and again showcasing to the regional markets and the international markets, please come and attend that event. I talked about the next event being the First Ladies Conference on Stop Cancer, which is coming in June. Then we have a big one coming in the month of July. This is a Global Entrepreneurship Summit, where we expect President Obama to be coming. And this for us is a huge, huge endorsement of Kenya as a destination that is safe, open for business, and above all, that is able to attract one of the most powerful men in the world, and this is President Obama. Later in the year also we have ATA. ATA is Association of the African Travel Association Congress, happening here in Kenya, down in Mombasa. We also have the Magical Kenya Expo, which is the 5th edition of the Magical Kenya Travel Expo, where as KTB, we work together with other agencies, private sector, to bring in what we call hosted buyers. Hosted buyers are people who basically are looking out for opportunities to market a country. So we have the media and we have the trades coming into Kenya. They sample the destination, and then after that we have a major exhibition involving our local trades. That's the travel agencies, tour operators, airlines, hoteliers down in South Coast, and we create an opportunity for them to matchmake. And then after that we'll be having another big event, which is the World Trade Organization Council of Ministers meeting coming in December, and not to forget also the PR, I'm sure you would know about this, on emerging economies. So there are a number of activities lined up between now and the end of the year. And then also there are many other events within the counties, like the Maralal Kamodabi we were talking about a few minutes ago, which happens in Maralal. We also have the Lamu Cultural Festival again, which comes sometime in November. So there are many, many events.
There's also an event taking place in
yes,
Obama.
Exactly, the Jumbo Charge, which is happening on the slopes of Mount Elgon, yes. So there are many, many other events, some at the county level, some at the national level, all geared towards creating an opportunity for Kenyans to travel, to experience, and in some cases, to discover.
There was a conference that was planned for Mombasa. I think it was this month.
Yes, no, it was in the month of October.
In October.
Yes.
Which has been cancelled or postponed. Could we have done something about it? And what was it?
Well, the event that you're talking about is the World Skull Congress, which was slated to take place. World Skull Congress, yes, which was slated to take place in the month of October, down again in Coast. Now, what we do understand is that there's a lot of work that had been put in place by the local organizing committee comprising of the private sector and also some agencies, like I know ourselves as KTB, we are involved in terms of assisting in the planning and also showcasing Kenya. But the key thing also is that the Skull Congress involves presidents of Skull from various countries. And what we understand is that a questionnaire was sent out to the various presidents of Skull all over the world. And a number of them indicated that they were not ready to come to Kenya at this point in time. And as a result of that, because the threshold was not reached, the event was not cancelled but postponed, from what we understand.
What is Skull?
Skull is a congress that involves practitioners in hospitality, and it's usually the very high level in terms of either major hoteliers or major people involved in the hospitality industry. And it's more or less like coalescing of top-notch people involved in hospitality.
Maybe we should go back to you and can you tell us what you are doing to convince these Kenyans to come to stay at that place called Shaza?
Okay, we have just started opening up to the public in terms of publicity. through various platforms from the media. And by and large, what we actually more focus on is referral business. Most of our buyers are brought in by other buyers who had already been in, and therefore that is offering us an easier entry in terms of the uptake of the place. However, once we do the official launch, which will be sometime soon after mid this year, then the place will be more opened up. People will have seen it, people will have understood how we are modeling and positioning our product, and therefore we believe that will increase the traction.
A lot of Kenyans think that despite the problems of not having clients, hotels and the tourism outfits are not attracting locals because they don't lower the prices. They say, why can't they? I know a company that is. There are certain companies that are promoting tours, tickets and hotel, and then charge that amount of money. Why is that not happening? That you have all those places which are closing. Instead of closing, make it cheap.
I think on the
if you go to a
contrary,
hotel in Mombasa, you want to buy maybe Tusker. The price is not from the tourist hotel, and then the next one to the kiosk next door. It's very different.
I think on the contrary, Bwana Njau, the correct perspective is that as a tourism board responsible for marketing this destination, and we are very cognizant of the fact that we've been trying a lot to promote to the domestic market. We started an initiative called Tembea Kenya. And this is a joint collaboration between Tourism Board, that's KTB, together with the private sector, where we get offers and specifically post them on our website. And we created a sub-site specifically for the domestic market. If you look at some of the offers that we've gotten from the hotels, they're really incredible offers. Incredible offers, I would say. Again, also, I'm aware about some tour operators who are selling very, very discounted packages, both in terms of ground and in terms of accommodation, again to the Kenyan market. And this is the reason why, if you look at the traction over the years, there's been quite a significant increase in terms of bed occupancy by residents. But having said that, let me also say that we have also created an opportunity through, like what she's talking about, through, again, the major associations that deal with either hotels, with pubs, with, again, tour operators, all of them saying that, listen, people, if we do not visit within with the country, amongst ourselves, then obviously we cannot rely entirely on the visitation from the international or the regional markets. And I can say without a doubt that there are some number of hotels that are specifically giving very targeted offers to the local market.
In fact, I understand if you go to China, and you visit the Great Wall of China, the biggest number of tourists you see there are not foreigners, they're Chinese. Why is it not so in our hotels? Maybe if you go to some hotel frequented by outsiders, as a Kenyan, you'll get poor treatment. That's a perception?
I think that's a perception, and I would say also that used to be the case in the past. But if you go to, especially like during major holidays, because you see, again also we need to take cognizance of the fact that Kenyans, we have a seasonality in terms of the trends. Yes. Our visitation mainly on holiday is during the Easter break, August holidays, and the Christmas festivities and New Year festivities. If you go around that time, I'm sure you'll be amazed. There's some hotels that will tell you 60 or 70 or 80% of their total clients is actually local residents.
Let's get some feedback here from our viewers. Mr. Ndego and the concerned parties should stop crying and pleading for Western tourists and their dollars. Hunt for new markets. Why can't you hunt for new markets?
Very good observation. I can say again also, 3 years ago, especially after the post-election violence, we obviously learned after our game. And this is the reason why we decided to do two things. One is product diversification, and the other one is market source diversification. And I can say for the last couple of years, the major growth driver for tourism has been the emerging markets. A country like Uganda never used to be among our top 10 markets. It's within our top 10 markets. India is right now our number 3 source market. Reason, again, because of our diversification. China, Markets like Nigeria are also upcoming. So we have actually engaged quite strongly in terms of source market diversification.
Somebody from Thika, Karanja, Robert, says the only time we see tourism actors on TV is when they are complaining. But when they have good business, they disappear only to resurface again when they have problems. This is very depressing.
Excuse me. I think that's, obviously everybody is entitled to their own view.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we obviously are always coming out and talking about tourism in good times or in bad times. Especially so when, like, we've had some very good times, we've talked about many events, and even during some of those events that we have recorded very good traction, we still talk about tourism. So for us, it's not a one-day event, it's not a one-day activity, it's good and bad times.
A tour guide, a professional tour guide called David, is made a major complaint. Tourism is threatened by unprecedented increase in cattle grazing in various parks and game reserves. In Mara, for instance, cows are grazing right inside the reserve up to Kikrok at night and sometimes during broad daylight. Tsavo has cows grazing into the Mzima Springs. Tourists are increasingly sighting cows instead of wild animals. I don't know what you can do about that.
Okay.
People don't want to go to the national reserve to see cows.
Okay. We've had that complaint before, and I think our role, obviously, as a tourism board, is to market the destination both to the, again, like I said, domestic, regional, and international markets. But we also do engage other relevant government bodies. For example, like in Masai Mara, it is not under the national government, it's under the county government. So we keep engaging the county governments, the national government, so that such kind of situations can completely be mitigated against or done away with. Because obviously, no tourist wants to come and see the cows and the livestock. They want to see the animals, especially when they go to the livestock, to the game reserves.
Another person is asking the same question as, why do they increase prices when all the rooms are empty? Sorry, there have been hotels. But you've explained that.
I think I've explained that. And then let's also remember that Kenya is a free market economy. So there's always the rules of demand and supply. I'm very much aware that during the high season, sometimes the rates could go up. But during the low season, clearly, we know also that a lot of the properties, the rates come down. And this is where we need to take advantage also, so that we also even out the seasonality trends, as opposed to all of us going to one particular place or to one particular region during the high season.
Another tour guide, this looks like tour guides have a problem. It says, ask Mr. Ndegwa if he knows that there are tour guides, and this is a professional that exists, but has never been recognized in partnerships as a point of growth in tourism. Yet guides handle clients from entry till exit. They have no union, they are poorly paid and subjected to private organizations which deduct money from them. And some of us are trained from Utalii and the more university campuses.
Well, the thing is, we obviously do appreciate the major task and the major work that is done by the tour guides. They are frontline staff, as we would say. And clearly, any tourist coming in, the first point of contact would be with the tour guides or with the taxi operators and with the people who are at the front line. And for us, obviously, we take cognizance of the fact that they play a very critical role. And this is the reason why institutions like Utalii, I know they offer refresher courses to the tour guides. And we also do try to engage not just the tour guides, but all the frontline staff through umbrella organizations like Kenya Tourism Federation, like through KATO, KHC, and many, many others.
Another tour guide is concerned about our driving manners. He says sorting out driving manners in Kenya roads would result to increased tourism by even 100%. Disorder on our roads is always the first thing that tourists complain about. Yet, Kenyan government officials are blind to this fact. They are used to this disorder, and they don't know better. This is not, I think, your problem. I think it's about
yes, but what he's saying actually has a bearing in terms of the whole experience. When the tourist comes in, how do they feel? And I know also we've done exit surveys when tourists are exiting, and one of the things that in some cases they have mentioned is about people being boxed off the road. Say, like, for example, you've landed in Jomo Kenyatta, you've gotten into a tour van, and then as they are driving from Jomo Kenyatta Airport to the city center, then there's a matatu bulging in and coming and bumping you off the road. I think the key thing is that I would not say that nothing is being done about it. I'm aware that the National Transport Agency has been doing a lot together with the national government, together with the police, to put order onto the roads, including also what the county government is also doing. So I would not say that nothing is being done. There's a lot that is being done, but we obviously need to improve in that aspect.
Another person, Bernard Tonga from Nairobi, says, I feel there is a way you can use MCAs and county government in marketing Kenya as a favorite destination, considering the fact that they are broadly traveled. I have my own tours and travels company that has been very involved in arranging their international appointments. I feel there is a way you can consult and work together with them.
Absolutely right. Tourism is not just a one-man show. It is an institution. It is an activity that involves a very broad perspective. In our case, we've had direct engagements with the counties through the Office of the Governor and also through the CECs that are in charge of tourism and trade. And we often have had fora with them, like on a quarterly basis or sometimes even more regularly. And we've had a lot of direct engagements with the CECs who also report to the MCAs or who also engage with the MCAs. So I think I would agree with him. I would agree with him or her and say that, yes, let's all work towards polishing the jewel that is tourism.
What about park fees? There's somebody asking about, can park fees during the low season be reduced?
Okay. Now, if you recall at the beginning of this year and also late last year, the tourism private sector stakeholders, they raised a lot of issues in terms of comparative prices between our park entry fees with neighboring country, for example. And this is the reason why the government reduced park entry fees by about by $10 actually, from 90 to 80 in some of the premium parks that initially used to charge that amount. If it's a park like Nakuru, local residents, the rate was reduced from 1,200 to 1,000 for local residents. The key thing is that you must be aware that this is directly under the Ministry of Environment and also directly under KWS. But we continue to engage with them so that we can also look to see that we are competitive enough so that we don't outcompete ourselves by having higher rates than neighboring countries.
We are running out of time. Maybe you have a last one to talk about Shaza. What do you want to tell Kenyans about Shaza?
It's important for you. Well, it would be good for the public to get familiar with the product. Reason being, this is the premiere of many others that we are hoping to open up in the near future, and therefore it should not be perceived as a product exclusively for the use of high-end, because this being homes that will be owned by the investors, it means that anyone can visit the place. Just like if you have a home up country, then your sisters and brothers and other relatives can also have a take of the place. Better still, despite its positioning, pricing within, for consumptions and enjoyment is very much favorable. We cannot compare ourselves to the hotel industry in that sense, because we are looking at the place being for the utilization, first and foremost, for the investors, before we look at short-term rentals. So the more that people would understand it, the more we would also be able to participate within the local tourism, because then that increases domestic travel. The coast is not very far off. There is good infrastructure. There's good pricing even in terms of the airfares and all. So it is not a place that henceforth should be perceived as to be utilized just for the high seasons and just over Easter. It's a place where if you have your daughter's graduation, you'd want to, splash it out and have, about 10-5 families close the place out. It's got beautiful gardens. It's a beachfront product. So, there'll be a lot of enjoyment and utilization for it. And as such, just to go back to your initial question, that's why we're not positioning it in terms of this will be the amount of rentals that, we'll be expecting from the place. Because in the immediate future, we are looking at it being, utilized by the owners, even during the low seasons and at quiet times, even like right now. If you'd visit the place, you'll see that there are a few families who are there, and, that's how we're looking at it.
Final one before we close.
Mine is a big appeal to all of us Kenyans, those of you who are watching the TV right now, that we are going through a long weekend, this long weekend of Madaraka Day. If you've not booked a holiday, please go out there and book yourself
Don't go to your village.
Even go to a village hotel is also good enough. But the key thing, and the reason why I say this, is that tourism has a very major trickle-down effect. You can imagine the mama mboga the person selling cabbages, the person selling potatoes, the person who is also selling fuel for transport and so on and so forth. All this has a trickle-down effect to the economy. When Bwana Mutegi Njau, you decide you're going to move away from Nairobi and go to Kisumu, for example, you're contributing to the employment of this country. You're contributing to income generation in this country. The second thing also is to appeal to all of us. It's important for us to have a bucket list that within my lifetime, I want to have visited all 47 countries. That will create harmony, and it will also help us in terms of generating wealth within all the 47 counties of this country. So the challenge is to all of us, me included, that we need to go out there, visit your country, enjoy your country, Tembea Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You Kenyans, you have heard. Do not concentrate all this time when you go on holiday, or when the vacations. Go to your village and go stay with your grandmother. Go to other places. Go to Kisumu if you are from Nyeri. Go to Mombasa if you are from Busia. And that's where you create employment and harmony in this country. Meanwhile, let's go to sea, to hear the music from